back to Release Trapped Emotions Live here in Emotional Money Mastery. So I am back in Los Angeles, happy to be back and looking forward to today's session. Before we go into doing some releases for Bobby and Yola, just wanted to kind of tap into well, I wanted to talk about how emotions can affect the way that we interact with people. Well, first of all, I'll tell you about this comedian, this Italian comedian. She's a young gal. She does these reels on Insta, things like that. And I was watching one of her videos, and this was actually when she spoke at a conference. And one of the things that she was talking about was like, look, people are crazy. People are crazy. So if you really don't want to interact with people, you got to do a job where you don't interact with people because people are going to be people. And I chuckled when I watched it, and then I thought, well, wait a minute. Why are people people? Why do we I mean, I also say people are crazy, right? Because the people that don't think and behave the way that I do, I feel are crazy because I'm like, well, why wouldn't they do the do it the way that I want, right? So then I thought, okay, well, what makes people people? And what makes people people is their own set of conditioning, their own set of emotional baggage. The stuff that they are still holding on to that's making them behave or react in a certain way. That's what makes people people, and that's what makes people crazy. And so I just thought that um it would be an interesting conversation to, and you ladies can chime in if you want, to have around, okay, so if we go on the assumption that people are going to be people and that people are going to be people because of their set of conditioning and emotional baggage, then how do we cope? Because it's like millions of combinations, right? And so the way that we cope is we do our own work, right? We do our own work so that whenever somebody presents him or herself in front of us and they do not behave the way that we think they should, or they behave badly, or they just do things that would just be out of our minds, right? Then we can interface with them and interact with them from a more grounded, confident, and boundary place. I'm going to just tell you a story. Just about a week ago, I had an interaction with someone who we were supposed to go do something, and I was supposed to bring some people, and the people didn't want to go. So I canceled my, I canceled my side because the people that I was supposed to bring weren't going to go. And so that the person on the other end took it a bit personally. And it wasn't necessarily about the person, it was really more about the logistics. And so, because the person took it more personally than it should have, blaming, projecting, doing all of that stuff, for me, it was like, okay, wait a minute. Like, can't throw it over here. It's not about me. And maybe this is just an opportunity for you to have a different experience, right? So, it's really about knowing when to acknowledge your faults, knowing when to set your boundaries, knowing when to negotiate. And it all stems from our emotional triggers, right? What has us react a certain way, think a certain way, right? Behave a certain way. And so we can find all of those answers deep in the subconscious. We can find those answers in the trapped emotions that are the trapped energy, the energetic experience of a negative emotional event that we then made something up about ourselves or the world. So it imprinted in our subconscious. And now that conversation is slowly driving us to behave. So we have certain mental patterns, behavioral patterns, emotional patterns, thinking patterns because of those conversations. And so that's what we tackle it, most every Mondays here in the Emotional Money Mastery Group. And we're taking a look at, hold on, I have to sneeze. Excuse me. Oh,
God bless. See, it's true.
thank you. Salute.
It's true.
It is.
When you sneeze on something, it makes it true.
One more. Excuse me. Woo. So we come here, my clients can come here, get some extra releases. You'll listen to and observe how the process goes. These are really, intimate conversations. So we want all, and I know everybody does, but I'm just going to say this, we want this to be a space, a safe space and a space of respect. And it's just an opportunity for you to see how maybe this work could support you in uncovering what might be holding you back, in uncovering what your triggers are, what parts of your past have been hindering you, sabotaging you, putting you in procrastination, in disempowering relationships, inner conversations. I mean, the gamut, right? And so for those who are watching, it's really important to stay present. It's important to have an open mind. And it's important also to, as you listen in, to see how that reflects in your life, because you're not here by accident, right? So I believe that the universe is always in perfect order. And so if you're here and you're listening, there's something here for you, even though we're not releasing anything for you. There's something here that you can learn that can maybe open up your mind to something, can maybe give you an aha. So those are the prerequisites, to just be present, be open, and then just self-reflect, see how it reflects back to you. Okay? So for those of you that are observing here on the in the Facebook group, in the Emotional Money Mastery group, great, you can stay. Those who are observing on YouTube, you can always go into the link and come into the Emotional Money Mastery group if you want to observe one of these release trapped emotions live as well. Okay?